Shalom, shalom, Mishpaka, to the 12 tribe Yasharel, the Yahudim, the house of Yehuda, foreigners and aliens and Gentiles alike. This is a day Yahuwah has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. First, giving all esteem and honor to the Most High Yahuwah, our Alawah. Rumamu Yahuwah, Baraki Yahuwah, all esteem and all glory goes to the Most High. And I just want to say I'm very grateful and thankful for the day that He's given me life. He's given me the opportunity to come to y'all to speak my truth and tell my story. My birth name is Jared. That's the name it was given to me from my mother. You know, I'm the middle of three boys. I was born in Kansas City, Kansas, and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. Currently, I'm still here, but just to the point where I'm just so grateful that I have life, that the Most High breathed life into me. Grew up low income, pretty much poor. Wintertime, when gas wasn't known, we was baruch to have a fireplace. So we burned wood. The family huddled up in the front room and we stayed warm that way. Summertime, it was hot, water wasn't known, so we had to go to gas stations and get water, and toilet plumbing wasn't, water wasn't known, so you couldn't use it. You couldn't use the toilet, so you had to go in buckets. So I had good days and bad days. But let me go back. I'm the middle child, but my older brother and baby brother, they had the same biological father. So Dad that raised me, he took me in like I was his own. He raised me like I was his own. For a long time I thought, I was his son. He raised me as his own. But I always felt different. Something was always off. I didn't look like my brothers. I didn't look like my dad. They say I look like my mom. But I kind of, certain members of the family I kind of favored. But I just knew I was just different. I was oppressed. I was bullied. I was mocked. I was beaten as a child. House caught on fire. I was supposed to die in it, but I escaped. Years. I grew up thinking that I'm the one that set the fire, but which came out to be a lie. I don't know how. I don't know why. I didn't know why, but I got bullied a lot. I got harassed every day at home. Tortured, Things that a sibling, a family member should never do to their brother. So if I told, I got it. If I didn't tell, I still got it. But anyway, I went through so much, and I cried out. We don't raise no crybabies. Suck it up, So I was pretty much quiet, pretty much shy. I was, fear was pretty much was beaten into me. as a child growing up. So just imagine getting bullied at home. Then you go into school, you made fun of, hand-me-downs, and we was known as a family with the afros. Brothers, they got the best at the time. When we operate out of ignorance, we don't know. But they got Halloween costumes. I got face paint. All the kids in school, they got costumes. I had face paint, But, I got bullied at school, got harassed at school. Even when I was getting picked on, when I decided to stand up for myself, I got in trouble for it. Because I stood up for myself. I got tired of being harassed. I got tired of, coming home crying every day. Things happened at home where my older brother did a lot of things. And I got blamed for it. Now, I'm not going to say I was a perfect child. I wasn't. There's some things I take accountability for mine. It wasn't perfect. But a lot of things that went on in the house, it was initiated by my older brother. So it got to the point where I couldn't be the only one that kept getting whoopings. So all of us got whoopings. But when they, when kids gonna lie, say I didn't do this and I didn't do that, we had chores in the house. It was my week. This was just deliberately, just a new dish every 10 seconds. I'm stuck there washing dishes and stuff, and I'm like, why you keep on picking on me? I went through all type of stuff as a kid, Got bullied, I got bullied. People wanted to fight me for no reason. I didn't understand it. I'm the type of person that love people, wanted people to like me. But when you're young, you think people are supposed to love you. We tend to seek validation. We tend to want love because we're made out of love. That's what I embody. That's what I believe in to this day. I still believe in showing love and giving love, and love. We know what love is. Love is patient. Love is kind. Bears all things, endures all things. To me, love just makes things happen. Family, went through humiliation rituals with family, cousins, and make you do things and stuff like that you don't want to do, and it was just a bad time. I had my good days and I had my bad days, but I don't worry about the bad stuff anymore because technically I actually healed from it, but this is just my story. I've been through all type of mess. Sexually molested, sodomized by family members. Family members standing over you, wanted me to have sex with family members and stuff like that. It's just wicked, 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 wicked. But I still, even though I was affected by it, I still end up smiling and still end up enjoying life, not realizing I was traumatized. High school, getting to grade school, junior high school and stuff like that. I went through that type of stuff growing up as a kid. Became the youngest barber in Kansas City back in '95. Went to barber school. How you get in these relationships, think it's gonna last, you fall in love with people, don't happen, But that's one thing I always believed in. I believed in the Creator. I believed in his son. I believed in, when you was raised out, when you was brought up in ignorance, because we didn't know no better, because the truth was hidden from us. But I believed in the Father, and I believed in the Son, and I believed in Yahushua HaMashiach. Instead of saying JC, but I always believed in him. No matter what I did in this earth, good or bad, I always spoke life into people. I always encouraged people. I always wanted the best for people, regardless of my shortcomings. And so my testimony is that I've been through all type of oppression, depression, anxiety, stress, worry, bitterness. I was addicted to drugs and alcohol. I was addicted to porn. I was addicted, fornicating, lusting. I pretty much just bore almost all the sins of the world. I was speaking to a friend of mine that she stays in Australia. But she believes in the Most High Yahuwah. And she's been heaven sent for me, because my story is I'm still in my wilderness season, but I'm coming out my wilderness season. I've been removed from my family, or my family was removed from me. I've been removed from friends. Relationships didn't work out. I was gang stalked. I was lied on. I was basically ridiculed, scorned. I was just people poisoned me. People left me for dead, stole from me. When I mean poison, I mean literally poison by drink, by food. And when you participate in drugs and stuff like that, people don't realize that we poisoning ourselves. People left me dead, thought I was gone. I'm still here, and as a saying, I like to say, got it from a song, there's still an empty grave. I experienced one episode when I'm walking, it was in the wintertime, I'm homeless, going back and forth, being out on the street and stuff, trying to find me a place, things are just not working out for me. Not working out for me at all. People were just mean mugging me, looking at me crazy. I'm like, why people are bothering me? I don't understand. But I keep on walking. I was going to this Taco Bell and sit down, tired, warming up. This person came in and just looked at me with a grin, like a really sadistic grin. Like, yeah, I got you now. Black man. He looked at me, put a smirk on his face, and I looked at his shirt, like he had you can tell he had a machine gun under the shirt. Knew he was ready to kill me. And the best scenario I can say is like Sarah Connor in The Terminator, when she was in the club. How she looked up and the Terminator was right in front of him, he pulled the gun out. But the guy didn't get a chance to pull the gun out. But when he was looking at me like he was getting ready to gun me down, I said, this is how I'm going to die. This person out of nowhere was like, nah, you're not going to die like this. The guy got freaked out and ran out. And they went after him and they chased him. And I was wondering why I keep getting a stink eye. I'm like, I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, man, why people are bothering me? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. People following me. I'm talking about, when I mean follow, people in their cars, in their vehicles. And this was going on for a minute. And I didn't understand why. one day, people was following me, and I was mad. I was angry. I was ready to hurt people. I was ready to go to jail. I've been locked up too. Running from my demons here. Went to another state. I was doing good. Demons still raised up, and I end up hanging out with some people I shouldn't have, and end up taking the blame for something I know I did, but I end up getting locked up. Did time in the state of Alabama. But I had found favor when I was locked up. So come back, still dealing with my problems, not knowing what's really going on with me. But I was like, I've been locked up before. I was to the point where I was like, I didn't care. I'm tired of people bothering me. I was really, really angry. I was really pissed off. And I got to walking, and people just looking at me. People working on the crew, they doing their job, they all stop and just look at me. And I'm like, why people just looking at me, pointing at me, driving around in circles, seeing the same car just keep coming back and forth, the same car. Like, what is going on? All of these two guys, and I heard this conversation. This young guy, and I was like, man, I agree with y'all, because they was talking about the Most High. And I was like, and they were just talking about stuff. I was like, man, I don't know. I was like, I'm at the point where I'm about to lose it. I'm about to snap. I'm about to lose control. And I explained my situation. The young guy was like, man, look. He said, let me tell you something. He said, don't let nobody get you out your character. I said, you know what? He said, I'm going to tell you what happened to me. He was in the gangs, and he wanted to lead a gang and all this stuff, and people was bothering him. He got in a car accident. The car flipped on top. He got ejected, and the car flipped on top of him, broke almost every bone, broke his ribs and everything. He wasn't supposed to be alive. And he's like, man, it took me a year to walk. And when you see him, you think nothing happened to him. You think he would never been in this position. And he's like, man, but he said the Most High had something for me to do. And he spoke like he was just a regular person on the street. And he got to talking with me with some force behind it. And this is a young kid. He's like, man, I don't care what nobody. He said, don't you ever let nobody take you out your character. Don't you ever let nobody feel you this way. Evidently, something's going on with you. You need to tap into the Most High. So I'm like, okay. I'm still going through this mess. I talked to him. Then another guy came in. This white guy. He had his Bible. And he opened up Matthew something. He said, man, this is what... He said, man, you need to hear this right here. This is for you. And it hit me. So I went to my stepmom's house. I'm battling going to my stepmom's house and my aunt's house. My aunt lives in Kansas. And my stepmom lives on the Missouri side. So basically, I'm going back and forth. Got to my stepmom's house and everything. One time, I've been staying with her for a while, getting jobs and everything else. Getting jobs, I'm still messing around in the streets. People still bothering me. Then one night, I cried out to the Creator and was like, what's going on? And he just showed me and told me what was going on. He asked me, he told me my life and what I was supposed to do. And he asked me, did I want it? I told him yes. And he's like, oh, let's go on this journey. Then the real battle started beginning. Everything is spiritual. Everything's being done in the spirit realm. I've been under witchcraft attacks. I've been wizards and warlocks, practitioners, finding out, going back and forth, listening to the Most High, listening to his instructions, and showing me I need to get in the Word, I need to start doing this and start doing that. And And I was never really patient, because I'm like, all right, this is how I am. I was like, I'm ready. Let's give me this. Come on. But I was never ready. Dealing with family members that practice witchcraft, family members that send factions, Freemasons, everything else, He telling me to look. I'm showing you who your enemies are. He started showing me my enemies. He started showing me my enemies. And my enemy was in my own household. So, and a lot of people don't think witchcraft is real. Witchcraft is so real. The things that people do, this is what they was doing to me. And I had to learn how to fight. So I learned how to fight. I learned how to fight in the spirit. So basically, I had family stole from me, lied to me, used me, sucked me dry, left me destitute, left me out here on the street and everything else. But when I was staying with a family member of mine that does witchcraft, that's a witch. I'm learning, I'm being obedient to the Most High, but I'm still like being disobedient, but I'm being obedient at the same time, if it makes sense. Not knowing, by me being there, I was hindering my progress, and I wasn't. It was like the veil being lifted off my eyes, so I had to leave. But how I left is because the spells wasn't working. The spells wasn't working on me no more, so she kicked me out. And so, I've been near my stepmom, but before that happened, my stepmom, she treated me like I was Cinderella. The stepmother and the wicked stepsisters, stepbrother and stepsister. I'm doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that. Grown kids up in the house. They durned up the house and they got me cleaning up and telling me I ain't bringing nothing to the table and all this stuff. When you're homeless, you depend on the system and stuff like that. So whatever I was doing, she'll give me money. I would sell, be honest. I make sure I have brought food in the house. She'll give me money. But that wasn't enough. She's like, I still got to bring something to the table. So basically, she was giving me money to give it back to her. And one day I just, and I started being obedient. I started listening. But I was still hindering my progress because I was in their house. I had to really, look, you got to look and see. I'm showing you who your enemies are. I was sick. I was under the weather. Came back from my aunt's house on a Friday. Started celebrating the Shabbat. She wanted me to do that. When I got there, trash was on the porch. The kitchen was dirty. Grown kids in the house. And everything. I'm like, I'm resting today. I say no work for nobody. And ain't nobody doing nothing. So from Friday evening to Saturday evening, didn't do no work. Sunday morning, people were still there. The kitchen was still dirty. Trash was still on the porch. Everything else. My stepbrother had surgery. Something erupted. His appendix or something erupted. He was sick. And you can see he was dying. He had emergency surgery. So I went to the hospital, petitioned and plowed over him, and he got to come home after 2 days after that. I was like, I wouldn't mind doing anything for him, and I wouldn't mind doing anything for myself because she's elderly. I respect my elders. But how they was using me and stuff, so, and you got kids, and it pissed her off when I said, look, I said, I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. Really seriously taken advantage of. And so she, not knowing that they was talking about me behind my back, saying I wasn't smart. I was, he don't realize that we're using him. All these things, And she was like, well, we need to talk. And she just kept looking at me with an evil face and all that stuff. And she was like looking, trying to talk down on me. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, well, you know what? I felt like, she was like, well, I said, you got people in your house smoking weed, eating up your food. Then you got a grandson that's something wrong with him mentally, but he smokes weed, he tears up the house, but he's inspired to be a rapper. But you're enabling him. Then you got nephew coming over there. You got one stand there. They just got out. From being locked up, and you got another one come over there. He pulled a gun out on me. And I told her, like, you must have said something. Like, no, I just got in that house and he was in the room in the dark with a gun pointing at me. And so basically that day, she told me to get the F out of her house. I'm like, you ain't said nothing but a word. But when she said that, she started yelling at me. I told her, like, I was being disrespecting and all that stuff and everything. I was like, you got grown kids. She was like, well, you a guest, this and that, whatever. I'm like, okay. Then she got mad and told me to get the F out. I was like, went down. As I was going in the house to get my stuff, the same one put a gun at me, came to the door, had his hand in his shirt. Like, I just looked at him and just smiled and just walked past him. Got what I needed and left. And I told her, I was like, you know what, I still love you, but, I ain't been back. I went back a couple of times either to check mail or something like that, but I ain't been back. And they thought I was coming back. And I said, I'm never coming back. I am never coming back. And I ain't never been back since. And I ain't been, then the spells wasn't working on me for my aunt. She kicked me out of her house. And I ain't been back since. I was wondering why my family and stuff like that. So I've been out here on these streets. Come to find out, when you have family members plotting on your downfall, waiting for you to die, took out insurance policies out on you, stole what was left from you from an inheritance that they think you wasn't worthy enough to have. Family, you're not invited to family gatherings. I went by on a family gathering. They looked at me like, what you doing here? This is my own mother. Like, what are you doing here? Then everybody started showing up. I'm like, okay. Now I realized I was being mocked and studied and ridiculed and all this stuff. I'm like, I didn't know who I was until I know who I am right now. So I had to learn how to trust in the Most High and depend on Him and not depending on man. And so it ain't been easy, but I look back at it and I'm very grateful and thankful that I made it because of His hands, not by my strength, not by my might, not by my power, but the grace and the love, the mercy, His strength, His power of the Most High that got me through. And I'm still here, and there's still an empty grave, and I'm not worried. I have no fear of man because He did not give me a rock of fear. He gave me a power and the love and of a sound mind. And I'm saying it to say this. People go through things in life. Some make it out and some don't. Some make it out, some don't. Some people give up. Scripture tells us like many are called and few are chosen. A lot of people took the call, but they didn't. They jumped ship. If we say we love the Creator, then why do we not do the things that He called for us to do? He tells us to be obedient. And if people believe in the Messiah, He said, those who does the will of my Father. But what is the will of the Father? His statutes, laws, and His commandments. Obey the Shabbat. Do not kill. Do not steal. Do not murder. Do not commit adultery. None of this stuff. You know, do not defile your temple. Do not drink. Do not do drugs. Do not smoke and everything. I went through all this stuff, and I'm so glad I said thank you. I said yes to him, because the kingdom of the Most High, it dwells in you. It dwells in you. Everybody think that people gonna go up from a rapture, you just gonna be going up in the sky. No, that's a lie. That's a lie straight from hell. Black folks in America, the true Hebrews of the scripture, we forgot where we came from because of the disobedience of our ancestors and forefathers when we practiced the things they did. And we wonder why we're in this mess. Everything is spiritual. Was written. Deuteronomy 28 speaks on our by our keys and our curses. A lot of people say blessings. Blessings is a derogatory word. They use that. The pagans did that to sprinkle blood on sacrifices, on altars and stuff like that. So these words, the people that use, they don't realize the words they're using. So to get people to understand, when I say these things, we spoke Hebrew, Abarit, Dabarim. That was our language that we used to speak before we was before we was sold into slavery, and we had our language beaten out of us. We did the things that our oppressors doing. We worship how our oppressors worship. It said that was going to be they was going to be over us for 400 years. See, what the thing is, for 400 years they took it too far. Don't get it twisted. We messed up. We complained. We practiced things what the world did. He said, be separate. We was a set apart nation with the statutes, laws, and commandments for it. That's why black folks have it bad in America. We're the only race where people, they love us and they hate us at the same time. They survive off of us. They survive off our energy. They survive off our light, because the Most High shines on his people. Yes, he poured his spirit out on all flesh. But when we come back to who we are, knowing who we are, you start loving on yourself. You start wanting to be connected back to the Creator. And once you start doing that, you go within yourself. You're like, I want better for myself. I need you to heal me, because we can't do this on our own. We don't have the strength to do it on our own. A lot of people, they lost their lives. A lot of people committed suicide. It got too tough. It got too rough for them. But a lot of people want the end result to things, but they don't want to go through the process to be healed. People go through trauma out their life, no matter if they're a kid and everything else. We was lied on, we was ridiculed, we was raped, we was murdered. You know, instead of saying good morning, we used to say grand rising. You know, when the word morning came in, mourning has something to do with death. Somebody's suffering a loss. They mourning. It says in the scripture. But the slave master used to bring our wives, our sisters, our mothers, our daughters, after they done had their way with them. Or they used to hang us. They used to beat us and hang us. Then they had the nerve to come into the camp and say good morning with a smile on their face. So we don't use that term good morning. That's why we say grand rising. You know, instead of saying morning, the technical word is yom, which means day. You know, or we would say good day, great day, whatever how you want to say it. But these words have curses. You know, see, this is what's going on with people in America. Like scripture say, it waxes worse and worse. Those are deceived are being deceived. So, yeah, we lost our way because of the lies and the manipulations from the enemy and stuff like that. How these people rose to power, because of things they practice and they mastered it. Their masters being doing the devil's work. Sabal, which people call Satan, name was never Lucifer. His original name was Sabal, the devil, the accuser, the fallen one. He has a lot of agents out here. Just like he has the agents out here, the Most High has his agents out here too. So I'm sharing this to tell y'all, don't ever give up hope. Don't judge a book by its cover. You don't know what people been through. A lot of people was paid to take me out. A lot of people was paid to monitor me and follow me. And it used to get under my skin, but it don't bother me no more. People can watch me. They can follow me. They can do anything they want to. People took bribes. And one thing about that, the Most High sees everything. How people think they got life. How they think they still walking and talking every day. They forgot who they belong to. They forgot who watches and who sees. I had a government on my back. I had a government on my back. I had Elon Musk offer me $30 million. I had the FBI, CIA, military personnel up in my face trying to get a feel for me or try to make me shrink down because of the past traumas I've been through in my life. Try to shrink me down. But it won't work. It won't work. Family members still doing this. Ex-relationships, all this stuff. I've been through so much. And the only thing I want to do is live in shalom and do the things that the Most High have for me. I'm not going to change who I am because I'm created out of love. I'm made in His image and His likeness. I'm set apart. I'm a peculiar person. I want everybody to win. I don't want no, really, to be honest with you, I don't. But it's not my call. You know, I plow petition. I intercede for His children, for all His children, because He's the Abba of us all. You know, the Yahudim, the tribe of Yehuda. I got the same still monitoring spirits still following. These still covens, these groups, these witches and these warlocks, these people behind the pulpit, these Freemasons, everything. But I don't give them no clout. I don't give them no power. I'm too busy worrying about doing the things He called me to do and to live the life I desire. And I desire to do the things He asked for me to do and desire to have a life, to love, to have a... This is the things He called for me to do. But people are paying people to look at me a certain type of way. People done looked over me just because I'm out here on the streets, just because I don't look the part that they think I don't look, or how I should look. Didn't take the time to get to talk to me, listen to other people, but at the end of the day, it's not my problem, it's not my fault. So, and I don't, and you know, to be honest with you, I don't fault the people that listen to other people. You know, because people can be convincing. People have power. People have clout. People have like a better platform. People have influence. They around certain individuals and stuff like that. And it's not those individuals' fault. I don't hold them. I don't hold them to nobody's past mistakes. You know, to me, honestly, there's nothing to forgive. You know, I know people that want forgiveness for the things, you know, they should have did what they was told to do. But smear campaigns, people saying this, people saying that, you know, I'm saying this to say this, you know, to those, especially you know who you are, there's nothing to forgive, really. But I'm open to listening to hear what you have to say. I'm open to hear to what you have to say. You know, we can talk. We can meet up. We can talk. We can discuss things and see how we move forward. You know, like I said, my heart is open to receive. You know, I'm His son. I'm set apart. And if you really want to know me, read Isaiah 53. Or read the book of Enoch. Basically, the scriptures is a love letter to myself and to all his children. But I'm grateful and I'm thankful that I'm still here, that I'm still alive, and greater is he that's in me than he is in the world. So no matter what you're going through, people going through something, people are hungry, people are starving, people don't have a roof over their head. I know what it's like. I know how it feels. I know what it's like. I know how it feels to be looked over. When you've been left out, you've been shunned from society, from your community, from your family. I know what it's like to be overlooked. I know what it's like when you have spells, being attacked by all type of monitoring spirits, these Leviathan and Goliath and these Jezebel spirits, these incubus and succubus spirits. Basically, the whole rebellion squad. Those who rebel against the Most High, those type of spirits. Wherever spirits you can think of, I faced them, and I'm still here. And I'm still speaking, and I hope my story, and I know it will, because it's going to hit somebody, and I know it is. I speak life into my situation. I speak abundance over my life. I know who I am. I know my worth. I know my worth, and I know what I'm entitled to. I know what I'm worthy of. I know what I'm worthy to have, because he says it, and I know it, and I feel it. So I thank him every day. I praise him every day. I worship him every day. It doesn't even matter. I've been through this for too long not to see beyond what I can see. He knows it. And I'm thankful, and I can finally see, I finally understand why I went through, why I had to go through. And I'm still here. I'm still grateful. I'm still thankful. And I tell him every day, if I'm away from like an hour, not talking to him, I always tell people, and let me tell you this, it's a daily surrender, it's a daily sacrifice, daily repentance. Because people can project on you their insecurities, their sadness, so you get to thinking, you get to feeling some type of way, and they get you out your character, and you start taking on their problems and their trauma. They project it on you to get you to think low, to feel low, to get mad, to get upset, to cuss, to fall back into the things. Because the curses, the spells, how they project. Because if you're a child of light, that means you should vibrate at a certain level. And these low vibrational people are trauma-bound people. People don't heal from their past trauma. People didn't have the courage to stand up and say, it ends with me. I'm not going to allow you to do this. I'm not going to be a victim of this. I'm going to dig deep. Just like right now. Constantly being followed. But Benny Siegel said, got my radars up, my spidey senses are tingling. Yeah. And just something about being connected with the Most High. He's the only one that can save you. He's the only one that can fix you. Can't no relationship save you. Can't no friendship save you. Can't no relationship fix you. Can't none of that. You have to heal. You have to do the work. You gotta do the work. Study to show yourself approved. Do the work. Allow the Most High to come in your life. You give him all glory. You give him full range control of your life. All your heart, all your soul, all your might, everything. I don't care if it's to your last breath. You give him everything about you, because he knows. He knows everything. He just waiting on you to come calling to him, come crying to him, and allow him just to do what he has to do and get your hands off of it. Yeah, sometimes, people going to have to go through things, and people are afraid to go through things. They just want the end result. I was a victim of that. I wanted it now, but I didn't know how until I just had to release and like, you know what? I can't do this. I can't do this. When I do things on my own, I mess it up. People tend to mess up. They think they know everything. What does Scripture say? I got a blank right now. But He knows what's best for us. Lean not to your own understanding. Trust in Yahuwah with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. He will make your crooked path straight. You know, a lot of people started off on that narrow road, and they got off that narrow road. They started doing things the world tell them to do. They started adapting the world. He asked us to come out of it. Spidey senses tingling. I know, but people can use my word. But this is a testimony to those who are going through something and you feel like there's no hope. There's always hope. You got to tap in with who's inside you. You got to look within yourself. You got to forgive yourself. You got to start loving on yourself. You got to start pouring in yourself. You got to start speaking life over yourself. No matter what we go through, storm may come. You know, weeping may endure for the night, but there's always joy. There's always a brighter day. We always coming out on the other side because we're favored. We're Barak. We are His children. He's the Abba of us all. All He wants you to do is just come back home. Come back home to Him. Start allowing Him to lead your life. Start allowing Him to start being obedient. Start listening to Him. Sometimes we just have to quiet the noise of the world. We have to get out of our own way. And we have to learn how to be obedient. Start listening to Him. Hey, there's days I wasn't obedient. He told me to do something, I didn't do it. Just like right now. My testimony, it'll help somebody. You know. But I'm speaking from a place that's I already won. I got the victory. And at the end of the day, my past can't hold me. That's been wiped clean. That's been forgiven. So I forgave myself. He's forgiven me. And I've forgiven others. And I move forward. But the reason why I'm sharing this because just to let y'all know I've been through it. I know what you're going through. You cannot tell me what you're not going through because I already experienced it. I know what it's like. I know what it's like when you're hurting inside and you're crying out and you really want somebody to help you. When you're in these relationships that doesn't serve you no good. When you're in these friendships. When you're on your job. When you have people on your job lie on you. Steal your ideas. I know what it's like to be into it with people and they stole from you, and the people that stole from you, they stole your ideas and it's been put on public display. I know what it's like. I know what it's like when you have family members misuse you and abuse you, stole from you, speaking negative over your life. I know what it's like when you have family that operate in things like that. Have this rebellious spirit, defiant spirit. And I started loving myself, so I started waking up to knowing who I am. You know, certain habits I had to let go of, especially if I'm His child. I cannot do what the pagans do. I cannot eat pork. And to the point is, I don't even eat meat no more. You're taking on these animals suffering, and you wonder why people's health is bad. You know, if they sacrifice right to the Most High, you know, but these animals are being slaughtered. Just imagine your whole family. You know, y'all rented this hall for a family reunion. Like, it's rad outside, but it's raining, so instead of having it just in case it rains, you go in this hall and you have it in there. But when you go in the hall, you know, you're setting up and everything, and everybody starts showing up. When everybody starts showing up, all the doors is locked simultaneously. And y'all wonder what's going there, and you seeing the family members getting slaughtered, getting executed one by one, and you stuck in there, and you seeing this, and you're freaking out. Trauma. You got trauma, and that family member, just thinking that family member, not knowing that they're going to be used for food, but they watching their family members getting killed until it comes to you. And the people that consumes you, they consuming your trauma. Imagine how these animals feel. Imagine how they feel. So a lot of people consume beef. Pork is a no-no. Shellfish is no-no. Everything that's unclean, we stay away from. I will not do unclean things. I will not. You know your scriptures. The Messiah, he didn't eat unclean things. He didn't say it was okay. He spoke in parables. He spoke in parables. The Pharisees and all of them, the elders, the clergymen, whoever you want to call them, Sadducees, Pharisees, those who were in high esteem, those who practiced the law, they got mad because the disciples didn't wash their hands. They just went to eating. They just started eating. And they complained about their hands being dirty. So it ain't like they was touching unclean things. This is their hands was dirty. And that's when he said it doesn't. And that what goes in the person that defiles and what comes out. These are supposed to be men of the law. But they judging people just because of this. Just because of that. And what they was doing, they was speaking from a negative, a prideful behavior. So what they was speaking, it was from a place of arrogance, pride, resentment, all these things. And how they were speaking, it was defiling them because of their rebellious nature. And a lot of people don't understand that. Pride and selfishness is the root of all evil. And love of money leads to all type of idolatry. So people idolize things. People join groups, cliques, and covens and secret societies just because of money. People need money. People are suffering. People are poor out on the street. They hungry. They want to support their drug habit. They want to support their alcohol habit. Okay, we'll give you this. They recruit people like this. They recruit these kids on a daily basis. These poisonous stuff. This music. Everything is subliminal. Everything is spiritual. These people is in the community. I was speaking. I'm going to say it. I ain't going to say it no more. When I grew up in the black neighborhood, you really didn't see no white folks even come. They didn't come. Only white folks that you see here is like police officers, ambulance, the medics, fire department. Pretty much. Social workers. But now they don't bother property. They done set up here, set up there. They walking too comfortable. And to the point is, people don't realize these are a lot of people that practice dark arts. They buy up property. People sell their soul and they end up homeless or anything like that. People casting spells in the community. But I made it out. Because their spells don't work on me no more. So they desperate. Not saying everybody's like that. But what they want from me is not what the Creator wants from me. It's not what He had for me. And it's not what I want for myself. So His answers are yeses and amen. So, like I said, I told Him, I can't turn my back on Him. I know what it means to turn my back on Him. I know what it means to be an enemy of him, and I don't want that. A lot of people don't understand that the Most High, he's vengeful, he's jealous, his wrath is certain. So, but the thing about it is, he's a forgiving Father. He loves us. He wants people to turn. I tell you to repent and turn from your wicked ways. Scripture says, suffer not a wish to live, a wish shall not labor. They all got to die unless they repent and turn from their wicked ways and stop doing what they're doing. Some people have, some people might, some people won't. But that's between them and the Creator. That's between them and the Creator. So I made it through. I'm grateful and I'm thankful. My advice to those who are going through something, who's trying to figure out their way, rely on the Creator. Rely on the Creator. Rely on Him to fix you, to heal you. Then you can open up the eyes of your heart and the ears of your heart, that you can see and you hear in the Spirit, and also that you can see. Just earth is waxing worse and worse. People are deceived, being deceived. Light and dark can't coexist. I exist. I am that house on the hill that cannot be hidden. I am that cornerstone that the builders refuse. So, don't give up. Don't let the enemy take you out. Allow the Most High. Greatness in all people. Everybody's called for something. He didn't put us on this earth without us knowing what we're capable of. And we are capable of doing great things if we choose to stop hating on each other, start loving on each other, start being obedient to the Most High first, and put down these guns. Too much violence going on in this city. Almost every night I heard gunshots. Gunshots is getting closer and closer and closer. Something's got to give, but these things have to happen. Unfortunately, people lose their lives, and I just hope that the Most High just sends them a comforter. People that mourn, we mourn when people mourn. It's a season for everything. So what people sow on this earth, people will reap. People will reap what they sow. People want to call it karma, laws of attraction. What goes around comes around. Universal law. Doesn't matter. Vengeance is His and His alone. He doesn't play when it comes to His children. He doesn't play when it comes to me. I don't play when it comes to Him. So if you're not doing the will of my Father, I ain't got no part with you. That mean I hate you or anything like that. That means I can't deal with you. I can't. So I had people say they don't believe. Some people say they believe but still did wicked things. All this stuff. Let them go. Let them go. So sometimes you got to leave that marriage. Sometimes you got to leave that job. Sometimes you got to leave your family. Sometimes you got to leave your community. Sometimes you got to go into isolation. And He's a breaker of men. He's a builder of men. He kills and He makes alive. He has to kill the things that doesn't serve your highest good. You got to let that die. You got to let Him fix. You got to let Him strip you bare and build you back up for His purpose. We're kingdom-minded men and women. We do the things He called for us to do. And now, if you would tell me like a year and a half ago I'd be speaking like this, I had 2 people spoke over my life. When I was a young barber, The owner of the shop told me, he's like, man, you could be a preacher one day. I was like, nah, he ain't called me to do that. Then like a year and a half ago, going on 2 years, this guy got out of prison. You know, he was locked up for marijuana. He had a long sentence. They let him go. Got to talking. And I had the Holy Scriptures. With the missing books, some of them. I showed it to him. He was like, man, don't you know you're a prophet? I was like, nah. But I was out here in the world doing my mess and doing worldly things. Then I found out who I really am. Seen too much, done too much. And I'm not relinquishing control. He has all control. But I'm not laying down. I'm not bowing down to no man, no system. No family member, no false friend, no fake relationship. I'm not bowing down to nobody. I don't care how mighty you think you are, how tough you think you are, how big you are. And I done been through some stuff. I've been jumped. I've been everything else. I had guns pulled out on me and everything. I've been shot at several times. I encountered Malakins, which is angels. I've been through it all. I've seen it all. And I'm still here because the hand of the Most High. He gets, this is not pride, arrogance, or ego. Everybody can overcome if they choose to. He gives us free will. A lot of these people, some people, they done sold their soul already. Some people, they believe in who their master is. You can't serve two masters. A lot of people, they don't believe in none of this stuff. I know what I know, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful. And I said yes to him, and I will always say yes to him. No matter what it is, how big or small. I know how great I am. I know how important I am. I know. I wasn't planning on being on this long. So I know it's going to take time to upload, but when they upload, sneakers are butterfly, right? Disappeared. But I know how great I am. I know how valuable I am. Yep. Pretty butterfly too. I know how great I am. I know how valuable I am. I know how important I am. And I'm not going to allow, the Most High ain't going to allow nobody to do that. Coming up against me is coming up against the Father. You seen me, you seen the Father. And that's the truth. So, be careful how you treat people. Be careful be careful what you say about people and how you speak to people, how you treat people. Because you never know who they really are. He hears the cries of his children. And as I look back on my life, the only thing I can say is it's because of the Most High. It's just like he gets all esteem, all glory. And I'm very grateful and I'm thankful. So I hope this message just pricks somebody's heart, especially those who are going through something. These days are dark. This time is wicked. But I had to be who I be if I could be that for y'all. So I had to go through what I had to go through. At the end of the day, it's still an empty grave. I still smile. And I love myself. I love myself to do better for myself. I want what's better for myself. And I receive with an open heart the things that he has for me. So just know I'm better. I'm so much better. I'm healed. I'm confident. I have no fear. Hey, I embrace the unknown. Sometimes we gotta step out. A lot of people say they ain't fearful of anything. Hey, that's a lie. But when he fix you, when he fix you, and he will fix you, he will humble you. Ooh, our humility. Ooh, that humble pie ain't no joke. It could leave a bittersweet taste in your mouth. You know, we thank him. I thank him for discipline and correction. I mean, there's no other way. There's no other way. So let this be a lesson. Let this be someone's inspiration, motivation. You know, I'll be hoping to see y'all, especially his children, especially ones that's doing the things he called for them to do. I look forward to seeing y'all and speaking with y'all and doing the things he had for us to do on this earth. You know, I'm going to say a favorite quote from somebody from a movie, Jack Napier. If y'all don't know who Jack Napier is, that's the Joker. Those who are Michael Keaton fans and Jack Nicholson fans and Batman, where did they get a load of me? So, I'm ready for whatever. I'm ready for whatever. Because I know greater is he that's in me than he is in the world. So, on that note, I love y'all, and I hope for better days. I hope your situation gets better. I hope my petition, and I intercede for all his children, for humanity and for the animals. That his his spirit just move. And I know there's people lives is going to change. I speak that over your life. I say this right now. Your life is going to change. When you fall in line with the Creator, your lives going to be flipped up, upside down. You're going to be stretched. You're going to be pulled. You're going to be doing all this stuff. But I tell you, the end result is well worth it. So, y'all stay Baruch. You know, and keep the Most High first in anything and everything that you do. We are overcomers. We are conquerors. We're more than conquerors because we love the Creator.